As believers in God, we believe in proofs of God's existence, which is that God created within us a software to enable us to need to worship something, have goals in life, have natural desires, have objective morality, and have free choices. All of these God have installed in each one of us. This software is the innate natural instinct we are born with, known in Arabic as fitra. An attempt by atheists to disprove this innate natural instinct is that they claim that our behavior are encoded by our genes. In other words, we are slaves to our genes and our genes dictate everything. And they continue to justify this by saying that homosexuality is due to genetic coding. So what does that mean? Does that mean that homosexuals have genes that push him or her to have homosexual behavior and desires? For the sake of argument, let's say these genes do exist. Does it justify the behavior? Here, make sure not to equate this to obvious genes for skin color, eye color, or gender genes for being male or female, because all these genes code for physical characteristics, not behavioral. So if I have a certain behavior or attitude, can I justify this and say this is due to my genes? Of course not. For example, if someone admits that they have a strong sexual desire, does that justify him to rape? Again, of course not. Or the more logical, reasonable, responsible reaction to ask him to try hard to control his desires and change his behavior for the benefit of himself and his society. So we must ask, why then do some claim that homosexuality is genetically driven, as if the individual is forced to have this behavior? Are they able to use the same argument for someone who claims that they have a gene to have unlimited number of wives, or a gene to be a pedophile, or a gene to rape women? Think about that. Now, the real question that needs to be answered is there a gene for homosexuality or a gay gene? The American Psychological Association said there are no findings that have emerged that permit scientists to conclude that sexual orientation is determined by genetic factor. This statement is from the same APA that tends to be biased toward homosexuals. In addition, Nature Scientific Magazine has stated that studies supporting this notion are inconclusive and that there is no gay gene, and many other books published that specialize in human sexual behavior. And one of the best books that went into details disproving the claim that genes are reason for homosexuality is the book by Dr. Neil Whitehead called My Genes Made Me Do It, in which he discussed cases of twins and how they could have different sexual attractions. Another contradiction that many atheists fall into is that they say humans came about through evolution and survival of the fittest and genetic mutation. Our question then is, can homosexuality evolve in the basis of survival of the fittest? Of course not. If two males and two females married, they would not be able to have children naturally, so they cannot pass their genes to the next generation. How is that evolving or surviving the genes? So, using the argument of survival of the fittest would not make homosexuality survive, yet homosexuality exists and is spreading. By logic, one has to conclude that the reason is due to behavioral practice and not genetic predisposition. In Islam, we believe that God created us from Adam and Eve, and God intended for us to be in pairs, male and female, and created our bodies to survive and have children naturally. And so, if there is something that is not natural, then we need to seriously doubt its basis and its motive and worry about its implications on oneself and on society. If we open the door for any other sexuality to exist, then we cannot criticize equally unnatural and other form of hypersexuality or rape or pedophilia or even incest. Please open your heart to the truth. If you have a question about Islam, ask a Muslim.